This is your wake-up call. This is a mirror. And today, you will see yourself clearly, maybe for the first time in years. Because deep down, you know the truth. You're not living at your full power. You're distracted. You're scattered. You're tired. You keep trying. But something always pulls you away. Another notification, another excuse, another day wasted. But let me say this loud and clear. You were not born to be average. You were not born to scroll, doubt, compare, and give up. You were born with a mission, a fire, a reason. And if you don't fight for your future, if you don't focus, you will die with your potential still locked inside you. You think you have time, but look around. How many dreams are buried in graveyards? How many tomorrows never came? How many lives ended before they truly began? Today is not just a day. It's a second chance. It's a call from the universe to wake up, lock in, and go all in on your goals before it's too late. I'll show you how to focus on your goals. Even when life gets hard, these 10 tips are more than enough to change your focus, your mindset, and your future, if you truly apply them. So if you're ready, if you're tired of watching others win while you stay stuck, then listen closely, because I'm going to show you how to build unshakable focus, even in the middle of chaos. And we begin with the one thing that changes everything. 1. Find your reason. Forget discipline. Forget motivation. If you don't know why you're doing something, you will never stay focused. Let me ask you, what's your reason? Not the fake one you tell people. Not the one that sounds cool. The real one. The one that keeps you up at night. The one that brings tears to your eyes when no one's watching. Maybe you want to make your parents proud. Maybe you want to break the cycle of poverty. Maybe you want to give your child the life you never had. Maybe you just want to look in the mirror and say, I didn't waste my life. That reason is your fuel. Because when things get hard, and they will, your brain will try to quit. And in that moment, you need to remember your reason so deeply that quitting becomes more painful than pushing forward. Real example. There was a girl from a poor village. No electricity, no internet. She studied under a streetlight because she had no lamp at home. She wanted to become a doctor. Why? Because her mother died. Not from a disease, but from not having money to reach a hospital. So she made a promise to herself. I will never let another mother die because of poverty. And every time she felt like giving up, every time her body was tired, she remembered her mother's face. That was her reason. That was her fuel. And today, she saves lives. So now ask yourself, what's your reason? Write it, speak it, feel it. Because without it, focus will break. But with it, you become a machine. You don't need motivation. You move because your why is louder than your pain. 2. Focus on the most important task. Let's be honest. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're busy doing the wrong things. You clean your desk, you check email, you scroll, you make to-do lists. But none of those move you closer to your goal. Here's the truth. One focused hour on the most important task is worth more than 10 hours of random effort. So what should you do? Every morning, just before touching your phone, ask this. If I could only do one thing today that would move me closer to my dream, what would it be? Then do only that. No distractions, no multitasking, no excuses. This is called deep work, and it's where greatness is born. Example, there was a man who worked as a security guard. Night shifts, no money, no support. But every night, from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., he studied code. Just one thing, just one skill. While others watched movies, he focused. While others slept, he built. 2 years later, he quit that job. Today, he's a software engineer because he focused on the most important task every day without fail. So you have to ask yourself, are you just being busy or are you being effective? Do you want progress or just the illusion of it? Because the person who focuses on the one thing that matters each day will always beat the person doing 50 useless things. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." This shows the power of focusing on one important thing every day, with full dedication. 3. Set your priorities. Let me tell you the truth. Most people are not tired because they're doing too much. They're tired because they are doing too much of the wrong things. You say you want to become successful. You say you want to focus on your goals. But when we look at your day, it's full of everything except your goal. You reply to every message. You say yes to every plan. You do things just to make others happy. You please everyone, except yourself. And this is how dreams die, not with failure, but with distraction. What does setting priorities actually mean? It means you stop treating everything as important and start protecting the things that truly matter. It means asking yourself, imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, getting me closer to my goal, or just keeping me busy? Let me show you something powerful. Take a pen. Draw 3 circles. 1. In the first circle, write down all the things you want to do. 2. In the second circle, write down what you're currently doing every day. 3. In the third circle, write your goal. Now compare them. If your daily actions do not match your goal, you will never get there. It's not magic. It's not destiny. It's math. You have 24 hours, just like every successful person. But they say no more than they say yes. They don't waste time proving themselves to others. They don't chase everything. They chase one thing, and they give it everything they have. Steve Jobs once said, "People think focus means saying yes to the thing you want to do, but it actually means saying no to 100 other things." So, here's what you need to do right now. Write down your top 3 priorities. Remove anything that's not serving them, and stop apologizing for focusing on your dreams. You don't need to do it all. You just need to do what matters every single day. Because when your life is filled with noise, your goals become a whisper. But when you cut the noise, your purpose becomes a roar. Calculate your time. I want you to really listen to this part, because this, right here, has changed lives. You say you don't have time, but the truth is, you don't even know where your time goes. Let's do a quick test. Imagine your life is a bank account. Every day you are given 24 hours. That's 1,440 minutes. That's 86,400 seconds. And every second, you're spending it on something. But here's the twist. You can never get that time back. Once it's gone forever. Now tell me, where did your time go yesterday? How many hours on social media? How long talking about other people's lives? How many minutes overthinking, comparing, waiting? You think you're stuck, but really, you're just misusing your time. Let me give you a deep, real-world example. There's a man who works 12 hours a day. He has 2 kids. He travels 2 hours daily. But every night, after putting his kids to sleep, he sits with a notebook. He writes, he learns, he builds, just 1 hour a night. but every single night. Now, 5 years later, that 1 hour a day built him a new life. He escaped his 9 to 5. He built a business. He became free. Not because he had more time, but because he used his time. Now ask yourself, where's your time going? If you spend 3 hours a day on Instagram, that's 1,095 hours a year. That's 45 full days. What if you use that time to learn a skill, to practice public speaking, to build your dream, to exercise, read, work, grow? You could change your entire life in 45 days. Time is not the problem. Your choices are. So here's what I want you to do. Track your time for 3 days. Write down everything, every hour. Identify your time wasters, not just the obvious ones, even small ones, like 15-minute scrolls that add up. Block your calendar like your life depends on it, because it does. Set a timer, turn off notifications, close the door, put your phone away. Work like it's your last chance, because it just might be. 5. Use your power hours. Let me tell you a truth no one told us in school. Your brain is not equally powerful all day. There are hours in the day when your mind is sharp like a sword. And there are hours when you're like a tired sponge, absorbing nothing. We all have power hours. The 1 to 3 hours of the day when our brain is at its absolute best. But most people, they waste those hours on Instagram, emails, scrolling through reels, or thinking about things that don't matter. They give the best version of their mind to things that give them nothing back. And then, when it's evening and their brain is tired, that's when they try to work on their dream. That's why it doesn't work. So, what should you do? Discover your power hours. Ask yourself, when do I feel most alive? When do ideas come easily? When do I feel fast, clear, and focused? For many people, it's early morning, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. For others, it's night, when the world is quiet. Find your peak time. Track it for a week. Don't assume. Observe yourself. Protect that time like your life depends on it. Imagine this. You're the CEO of a billion-dollar company.
Okay.
Would you waste your most important meeting hours chatting about memes? No, so why treat your dreams any less seriously? In your power hours, turn off your phone, lock your room, block all distractions, set a timer. Do the one thing that moves your goal forward. Whether it's writing, planning, studying, building, designing, do it when your brain is on fire. Because what you can do in one focused hour during your power time is 10 times more effective than what you do in 5 distracted hours later. Let's make it practical. You wake up at 6 a.m. Most days, the first thing you do is grab your phone. You scroll, you text, you reply. And suddenly, it's 8 a.m. You've used your most powerful brain hours on things that took you nowhere. Now imagine this. You wake up, no phone, you sit down, and for 2 hours, you write, you plan, you create, you work on your dream. By 8 a.m., before the world even wakes up, you're already ahead. You already built something. You already made progress. And your mind feels powerful. That's the power of using your power hours. And the best part? You don't need 8 hours a day. You need just 1 or 2 at full focus every single day. Do this for 90 days, and your life will not be the same. 6. Procrastination is the worst. Let me say this clearly. Procrastination is not a small problem. It's not a cute habit. It's not, I'm just lazy today. It's a slow death. It's a thief. And every day you procrastinate, it steals your future. but you don't feel it immediately. It doesn't hurt like a punch. It's quiet, silent, software, and that's why it's deadly. Let me show you how it works in real life. You wake up, you feel tired, you tell yourself, I'll start after breakfast. Then you say, maybe after lunch. Then it's 4 p.m. You say, okay, I'll start at 5 sharp. 5 p.m. comes. You say, I'll just watch one video first. Suddenly it's night. You go to bed, and your dream? Still waiting, still untouched, still in the same place it was yesterday. That's how life passes. One excuse at a time. Why do we procrastinate? Because we wait for the perfect mood. We wait for motivation. We wait to feel ready. But you will never feel perfectly ready. You will never feel 100% confident. You will always feel some doubt, some fear, some resistance. So here's the truth. If you want to win in life, you must learn to act before you feel ready. If you wait to feel like it, you'll wait forever. If you wait until the fear disappears, you'll never move. How to destroy procrastination? The 5-second rule. The moment your brain says, I should do this. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Stand up, open the book, open the laptop, start writing, begin. Why does it work? Because your brain is fast. It will come up with excuses in seconds, so you must act before the excuses arrive. Make it stupidly simple to start. Don't say, I'll study for 2 hours. Say, I'll just open the book and read 1 page. Because starting is the hardest part. Once you start, energy comes. Momentum builds. 1 page becomes 5. 5 becomes 10. It's like going to the gym. The hardest part is not lifting weights. It's putting on your shoes and stepping out the door. But once you start, you feel better. You feel alive. And you think, why did I wait so long? Remind yourself what it's costing you. Every time you procrastinate, you're not just wasting time. You're delaying your dream, delaying your confidence, delaying the life you want to live. Ask yourself, if I don't take action today, what will my life look like in 5 years? That pain, that vision of a future you don't want, use it. Let it push you. Let it wake you up. Because procrastination is not about laziness. It's about fear. And when you face it, you break the chain. 7. A healthy mind lies in a healthy body. Let me ask you something simple.
What if I told you there's an
Can you drive a car if the engine is broken? Can you focus on your dreams if your body is tired, your stomach is heavy, your head is foggy, and your energy is low? Of course not. Your body is your first home. Not your house, not your room, your body. And if you don't take care of it, your dreams will slowly die. Not because you're lazy, but because your energy can't carry them. Let's break it down clearly. You eat junk food all day. Your brain becomes slow. You sleep at 2 a.m. every night. Your mind becomes cloudy. You don't move your body. Your confidence goes down. You keep sitting for hours. Your motivation dies. This is not motivation talk. This is science. This is real life. If your body is tired, your brain can't focus. If your digestion is weak, your thinking is weak. If your body is full of sugar, your mind is full of noise. Now you might say, I'll focus on my health later. Let me just work on my goals now. But let me be honest with you. You won't reach your goals if your body gives up halfway. What good is success if your back hurts every day? What good is money if your energy is gone by 12 p.m.? So now here's what you must do if you truly want to become focused and unstoppable. Sleep like it's your superpower. Sleep is not laziness. It's your brain's way of charging itself. When you sleep 6 to 8 hours deeply, your brain clears waste, resets focus, stores memory, and sharpens attention. Don't scroll at midnight. Don't sacrifice your brain for Instagram. Protect your sleep like a treasure. Move your body daily. You don't need a gym. You don't need expensive clothes. You just need your legs, your lungs, and 15 to 30 minutes of movement. Walk, run, do yoga, dance, stretch. When you move your body, you release powerful chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. They improve your mood, reduce stress, and skyrocket your ability to focus. Eat to win, not just to fill your stomach. Stop feeding your body like a trash bin. Eat clean. Eat light. Fruits, vegetables, water, natural foods. Less sugar, less fried food, less junk. You can't build your dreams with a broken machine. And your body is the machine that runs everything. You say you can't focus on your work, but you haven't drunk water since morning. You skipped breakfast. You had chips and soda for lunch. You slept 4 hours. How can you expect focus from a tired, underfed, dehydrated brain? It's not you. It's your habits. And the moment you change those habits, your brain will wake up like it was sleeping for years. So next time you feel tired or distracted, don't blame yourself. Check your body first. Because no matter how big your dream is, you still live inside a body. And if your body breaks, your focus breaks too. 8. Create a balance between your pain and enjoyment. Listen closely. This part is going to be very raw, because this is where people really lose control of their focus. Most people live in extremes. They either chase only pleasure, parties, reels, food, gossip, comfort, or they live in constant pain. Overwork, stress, burnout, depression. But life was never meant to be lived at one extreme. You can't stay only in pain. You'll break. You can't stay only in pleasure. You'll rot. So here's the truth. You must balance both. You must build a life where pain becomes your teacher and pleasure becomes your reward. Let's break this down clearly. A. Use pain to build discipline. You don't want to wake up early. You don't want to say no to junk food. You don't want to focus on one hard task. You don't want to sit down and study. That's okay. But here's what you must understand. The more you avoid pain, the more your dreams avoid you. Discipline feels painful in the moment, but it gives you something better later. Confidence, freedom, pride, power. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a signal that you are growing. So learn to sit in discomfort. Learn to say, yes, this is hard, but I will do it anyway.
The Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque.
And over time, your brain stops seeing it as pain. It starts seeing it as power. B. Use enjoyment to heal, not escape. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They don't rest. They escape. After a little work, they binge on food, on videos, on distractions. Not because they're tired, but because they don't want to face their goal. That's not enjoyment. That's avoidance. True enjoyment means you do your hard work first. Then you reward yourself with rest, nature, music, laughter, food, love. It's about earning your pleasure. When you live like this, pain becomes meaningful. Pleasure becomes beautiful. And this balance gives you something powerful. Sustainable focus. Let's bring this to daily life. Imagine this routine. Morning. You wake up, you do 2 hours of deep focused work. Afternoon. You eat clean, walk, breathe. Evening. You do another 1 hour of focused work. Night. You relax, listen to music, talk to someone you love. Watch one episode of your favorite show with peace. Now compare this to wake up late, watch reels while eating breakfast, half-focused work, constant distractions. Guilt builds up. At night, binge eating and Netflix for 3 hours to escape your guilt. Sleep late. Repeat. Which one is success? Which one is self-love? Which one builds a future? The answer is clear. 9. Remove toxic triggers. Let's begin with a brutal truth. Your mind is not weak. Your dream is not dead. Your focus is not broken. You're just surrounded by triggers that are poisoning your ability to think. And what's worse? Most of these triggers look normal. They hide in your phone, in your habits, in your environment, even in your relationships. But slowly, silently, they are killing your focus from the inside out. Let me break it down clearly, like no one ever has. What is a trigger? A trigger is anything that pulls your mind away from what really matters. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It distracts. It drains your energy in small drops until there's nothing left for your goal. Triggers don't say, don't chase your dream. They say, just check your phone real quick. Let's scroll for 5 minutes. You can start later. You need to relax first. Everyone else is ahead of you anyway. Sounds familiar? Now think about this. Every time you hear or see one of those triggers, your focus resets to 0. Your mental state shifts. Your motivation drops. Your plan delayed again. It's not your willpower. It's your surroundings. It's the triggers in your daily environment that silently own your attention. Let's get real. Where are these triggers hiding? A. Your phone, the most addictive trigger. Be honest. How many times do you unlock your phone without thinking? Once an hour? Twice? No. Studies show most people touch their phones 2,000 to 3,000 times a day. You may say, I use it for work. But check your screen time. Look at how much time is spent on Instagram, YouTube, short videos, messages, scrolling random things that don't improve your life at all. These are mental landmines. They're stealing your time, not by force, but by habit. And it's not just about time. It's about mental clarity. After 30 minutes of scrolling, try to read 1 page of a book. Try to focus on your business plan. Try to think clearly. You can't. Your brain is scattered. You've been triggered into a state of constant stimulation. Where focus dies. B. Your environment. What you see. What you do. Your room matters. Your desk matters. Your surroundings are either making you powerful or pulling you into chaos. Let's say you walk into a room, and here's what you see. Clothes lying around, snacks on the table, your phone blinking, music playing, half-done tasks all over the place. Now tell me, can you really sit and do deep, focused work in that space? No, because what your eyes see, your mind reacts to. Your environment is constantly triggering your behavior. So if your space is full of noise, mess, and stimulation, your focus becomes shaky, weak, and distracted. You can't build mental clarity in physical clutter. And this is why smart people protect their surroundings. Clean room, organized desk, phone away, clear visual space. It's not just neatness, it's neural protection. See, people, the silent energy leaks. This one hurts, but you need to hear it. There are people around you who may seem harmless, but every time they talk to you, you feel doubt, guilt, comparison, negativity, confusion. They question your goals. They joke about your focus. They make you feel stupid for working hard. They send you memes when you're trying to focus. And slowly, they become emotional triggers. you're not just wasting time talking to them. You're wasting mental energy recovering from what they said. Focus is not just about doing the work. It's about protecting the mental space that allows you to do the work. And sometimes, that means distancing yourself from people who drain your attention, even if they're close. How to remove toxic triggers. Step by step, let's make it real and practical. Trigger audit. Take a pen. Draw 3 columns. 1. What breaks my focus daily? 2. Where is it coming from? 3. How can I remove or reduce it? Be honest. Write things like Instagram in the morning, delay of 1 hour. Phone near bed, can't sleep early. TV on in background, weak concentration. Negative friend, kills my motivation. Once you see it on paper, it becomes real. Then it becomes changeable. Remove or block. This is not about being perfect. It's about being strategic. Put your phone in another room when working. Block distracting apps during power hours. Keep your desk clean and intentional. Use noise-canceling headphones. Tell people, I'm working from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Please don't message unless urgent. Protect your mental environment like it's your last asset. Because in a way, it is. Replace the trigger. You don't just remove triggers. You replace them. If you remove distractions but leave a void, your mind will get bored and run back. So replace. Scrolling with journaling. Gossip with planning. Noise with calm music. Comparison with self-check-ins. Give your mind a better option, and it will follow. 10th fall. In love with boring repetition. Let's stop pretending. Let's tell the truth. Achieving any meaningful goal in life is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not viral. It's boring. And it's repetitive. Day after day. Same actions. Same routine. Same grind. When nobody's watching. When no one claps. When no one cares. And this, right here, is where most people break. Because the world taught you to chase motivation, inspiration, energy, newness. But focus, real, lasting focus, it's built in silence, in boredom, in the daily repetition of simple tasks that feel small, but stack up like bricks into a castle. Let's get real. What does repetition look like in daily life? Writing 500 words every morning, even when you're not in the mood. Practicing the same speech for the 10th time, even when you're bored of it. Going for your walk or workout, even when the weather is dull. Opening your book again and again, even when your mind wanders. Reading the same paragraph twice to understand it fully. Planning your next day every night, even if it feels robotic. This is the boring work that builds brilliance. But here's what most people do. They start with excitement. They push for 1 week. And then they stop. Because it doesn't feel exciting anymore. Let me ask you something real. Did your parents feel excited every day when they went to work to feed you? Did your mother wait for motivation to cook? Did your father need fireworks to pay the bills? No, they did it because it was necessary. Because it was their responsibility. Now your goal, your dream, it's your responsibility. Not your hobby, not your mood, not your fantasy. It's your mission. And missions are built on commitment, not excitement. But why does repetition work so powerfully? Because repetition rewires your brain. Each time you do the same task with focus, you build a habit loop. You reduce resistance. You increase confidence. You create momentum. Suddenly, what was hard becomes natural. What was scary becomes automatic. What felt impossible becomes your identity. That's how athletes train. That's how musicians master. That's how creators succeed. Not with one big burst of effort, but with small daily actions done with insane consistency. Let's take the most ordinary task, brushing your teeth. You do it every day, without motivation, without music, without applause. Why? Because it's part of who you are now. You don't wake up and say, I don't feel inspired to brush my teeth today. You just do it, because repetition has made it automatic.
Learn Spanish with real.
Now imagine if you treated your goal like that. Imagine if working on your dream became just as automatic as brushing your teeth. No debate, no emotion, just daily repetition. That's when your power begins. Because now, you're not working on your goal when you feel like it. You're working on it because you've become the kind of person who does the work. The secret? Boredom is a sign of growth. If you're bored, good. It means you're doing the hard part. You're leaving the world of dopamine and distraction and entering the world of mastery and purpose. So don't quit when it feels boring. Lean in, smile, and say, this is where I grow stronger than everyone else. Because most people quit at boredom. And if you don't, you win. I know life gets hard. I know your mind gets tired. I know some days you feel like giving up. But listen to me. You are stronger than you think. You are not alone. I am with you. This channel is with you. You are
orgasms that you can have. There's that's a one and done. But then there's that's the queen of orgasms. And to achieve that, there are very specific techniques that work, and it's not what you see on porn.
Dr. Susan Bratton is a world-renowned sex specialist and best-selling author of over 30 books and programs.
And for over 2 decades, her expertise has empowered millions to master pleasuring techniques, bedroom communication, and unlock their true sexual potential.
Why did you focus on sex as a career?
Well, it was 12 years into our marriage. We had a beautiful daughter, gorgeous home, but I never had an orgasm from intercourse. And we thought there was something wrong with me. But this is not unique. So many of us have had problems with sex. And once we got some skills, it just lit our sex life on fire. So here are 48 of my best sex techniques. Number 1, number 2, you have to... Number 3, it's something that I love to teach men. And then there's these toys that I want to show you.
What is that?
This is a device that no one's ever seen before.
Wow.
Doesn't that feel so good?
Susan, this is the first time we've ever done this. We reached out to some of our audience to send us their questions.
Okay, let's unpack this. And let's start with...
This has always blown my mind a little bit. 53% of you that listen to this show regularly haven't yet subscribed to the show. So could I ask you for a favor here and you want to support us? The free, simple way that you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is if you do that, then I'll do everything in my power, me and my team, to make sure that this show is better for you every single week. We'll listen to your feedback, we'll find the guests that you want me to speak to, and we'll continue to do what we do. Thank you so much. Susan, what do you do and why do you do it?
Well, I teach passionate lovemaking techniques by publishing books and programs and audios. And I do it because my passion is passion. I like to say that my brand of sexual education is heart-connected, conscious, passionate lovemaking, which is very different than transactional sex or sex that looks like pornography.
If someone comes to you and they say, I'm struggling with my sex life in some way, or I'm not at my sexual potential, what can you do for me? How would you answer that question?
Well, I'd say sex is such a vast landscape, and people enter into it from so many different directions that often when someone is saying that their sex life isn't as good as they want it to be, I have to ask them, what's it like? What do they want? What's the vision that they're holding for themselves? And often I recently had a young woman come to me and say, all my friends talk about sex being so great, but I haven't experienced that. And I wonder if I'm asexual because it's just not that good for me. It just seems like it's so fast and hurried, and I don't know. I just don't. I'm worried. Maybe something's wrong with me. That's what women think a lot. Is they think there's something wrong with them. But remember, I'm not a therapist, so I don't sit in a room with a client and unearth all of the issues that they have. What I do is I author passionate lovemaking techniques. I teach you how to have really good bedroom communication, how to know what you want and ask for it confidently, have your partner love for you to ask them for what you want, feel good about it, not like they did anything wrong. And then know a whole bunch of pleasuring techniques, how their bodies work, what the possibilities are. Because if you're thinking about sexuality, because sex has been so censored, nobody even knows what's possible. If I say to someone, there's over 20 kinds of orgasms that you can have, they'll be like, what? And especially men, they think there's one, maybe two. Where women are like, there's 20? They are at least aware that there's more than one or two, that they could have these different, kinds of orgasms. And so once you understand the communication piece and you understand the pleasure piece, then you can understand what's possible. And then you can begin to try things.
Okay, so you get an email into your inbox,
Yeah.
and it's from a woman.
Yeah.
If you had to bet
Yeah.
what that question in that email was, and all you know is that it's from a lady called Suzanne, what would your guess be?
My libido is gone, and I feel really guilty. I feel really bad. I'm not interested in sex. Or there's something wrong with me. I'm unhappy. I'm unfulfilled. I don't feel like what I'm doing is right. That's most common with women.
And if the email came in from a guy called David, what would you think before you click the email, what do you think he's asking you?
Sexual biohacking, erectile dysfunction, penis enlargement, male enhancement, all of those kinds of things. Guys, a lot of men ask me about, I think there's something wrong with my penis. So that would be the number one thing that would be most likely to be in my inbox. But the second thing would be something around either I have some shame around part of my desire, or I'm frustrated with my partner that I'm not having the kind of sex that I want. What do I do to fix it? So fixing things. People are writing for fixing things, whether it's men or women. That's what they reach out with, our problems.
Quality and quantity, or one more than the other?
I would say quality generally, more so than quantity. You can fix when you fix quality, right? Quality comes before quantity.
That's true.
Yeah.
You have a really atypical journey to becoming a sex expert. It's not something that you studied when you were younger in college or something. It's not something that it's not sort of an off branch to some psychology degree you were doing. You became a sex expert at what age?
42 is when I went on my sexual expansion journey and started my company shortly after that.
Why sex? Why in your early 40s did you decide to focus on sex when previously your career had been about many other things? Did something happen?
Yeah, it did, right? I was married to Tim, my husband, Sir Tim. He's the prince among men. I've been with him for 33 years now. And we were 12 years into our marriage. We were a very successful Silicon Valley company. My husband invented Rhapsody, the OG Spotify. So we were both in high tech, having IPOs, doing incredibly well. We had a beautiful daughter. We had a gorgeous home overlooking the entire Silicon Valley. It was just incredible. But we had become platonic. Not for my husband's lack of trying to have sex with me, but I had sex with him for a dozen years, and I never had an orgasm from intercourse. I could have an orgasm from a vibrator, but I couldn't have one from intercourse. And I'd had some sexual trauma as a child as well, which honestly, the majority of people have had sexual trauma, whether it's simple repression or actual physical abuse of some kind. So many of us have had trouble, and not just women, men too. People across the spectrum have had, things happen to them. And I avoided him for sex.
What did your sexual trauma teach you about sex?
Well, it taught me that I am who I've always been inside myself, and that no one can take away who I am and my power and my sovereignty. I've learned that one can move through and heal from trauma, and that it takes both talk therapy and empathy from someone, as well as somatic release, physical body release, and that often our greatest wound can become our greatest gift, which is what that trauma did for me.
The trauma itself, what did that traumatic experience convince you that sex was or wasn't?
I always liked sex, and I refused to let that trauma hurt my sex life. But the problem was that I ended up doing something called dissociating during intimacy. And so if you kind of leave the scene emotionally and you're just there physically, you really don't get that thing, that heart connection. You don't find your humanity in your lover. You can't really touch source through your connection.
Can you explain that to me, dissociation? Because I think
Yeah.
I've heard people tell me privately that that's the issue that they had in their sex life for many, many years, that they were basically disassociated from it.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's where you kind of, you just check out. You go through the motions physically, but you're not emotionally there. It's protection against being hurt again. So once I learned that that's what I was doing, my husband would help me, Tim would help me come back to him, come back to him, come back to him. And then we started going to sex workshops. We went beyond therapy and we started going to sex workshops. And we learned how to have sex. And by sex, I don't necessarily just mean intercourse. We learned all kinds of things. We went to Tantra workshops. We went to Sex, Love, and Intimacy from the Human Awareness Institute. We did ecstatic loving. We did orgasmic meditation. We did all kinds of things. And it just lit our sex life on fire once we got some skills. We were the blind leading the blind. Everybody's the blind leading the blind. Everybody. We don't see any good examples of heart-connected, passionate lovemaking. We don't see them in film, in the movies. We don't see them in pornography. All of that is male, patriarchal, religiously repressed styles of sex, rather than female-focused, heart-connected, blissful, slow, pleasurable sex, highly orgasmic sex. So I think what happened for us was we had such good sex so easily once someone told us what to do that we said, oh, well, he's already, sending MP3s all over the internet, and I'm already sending video all over the internet with cable modems. Why don't we bring all these courses online? Because very few people are going to go to a sex workshop. Number one, it costs money. Number two, you have to be able to do it. Number three, it's scary. It's really scary to take off all your clothes and go to a sex workshop and do hands-on techniques in a room full of sweaty people. There's a lot to it, right? And so we said, why don't we put this on the internet? Because that's what we're good at. Let's put programs on the internet that people can access from anywhere in the world and learn how to make love together. Learn orgasm techniques and communication skills and pleasuring, how the body works in ways that will take them to places they never even imagined were possible.
Zooming in on that moment where you and Tim are struggling in the bedroom.
Yeah.
How long had it been since you'd had sex, or how often were you having sex at that point?
Well, it petered out over time. So when we first met, we had great new relationship energy. We were having sex, but it was the kind of sex that I would call these days, grab a boob and stick it in. Very intercourse focused. I know, exactly. Like, and, I love intercourse. I teach intercourse skills because what you see modeled is really, oh man, it's like kindergarten, what you see out in the market, out in the world. And so how do you have this massively, exquisitely orgasmic, mutually pleasurable intercourse? You just need to learn a couple things. That's the great thing about sex. It's like, have you ever heard that phrase, a little hinge that swings a big door? It's like an example of leverage, right? One little hinge and a giant door. And how's that little hinge swing that giant door? That's what sex actually is. If somebody tells you what to do, because, I mean, my operating system and your operating system are like everybody's operating systems, right? The human body works the way the human body does. And so women who are walking around going, I'm broken, I can't have an orgasm from intercourse. And her husband's like, well, I guess you can't, but we're still going to have intercourse anyway. I say to them, yes, you can. You just need to learn how. You just need to cross the gasm chasm, close that orgasm gap. And so if I can get more people to understand that if something isn't good, that they just haven't had it good yet, that's, I think, one of the biggest messages I can give to your audience is just keep learning new skills, but don't miss all the other things. I'll give you an example of something in sex that really chaps my lips. And that is this idea that there's foreplay and sex. That comes right out of religious repression. Because sex is for procreation only, so the only thing matters is sex, and sex is intercourse. Heck no. Sex is everything. Sex is a hot makeout. Sex is rubbing our bodies together. Sex is words of appreciation, adoration, encouragement. It's languorous kissing. It's stroking each other. It's oral pleasuring. It's intercourse. It's playing with toys. It's sex in new locations. It's, filming yourselves and watching it while you're holding each other later and going, oh, you know what the best moment for me was? No, tell me. The best moment for me was XYZ. And you're like, are you kidding? That was your best moment? Yeah, what was your best moment? My best moment. I mean, those are the things that make sex great, that make you want to have it again.
In that moment when you and Tim hadn't been having sex, sex had completely dried up.
I really avoided him as much as I possibly could. I was giving him what I now call mercy sex.
What is that mercy sex?
Well, it's like, well, he's going to be a miserable man if I don't throw him a bone once in a while.
And how often was once in a while?
Oh, God, like a couple times a month at the worst. Yeah.
A couple times a month at the worst?
Yeah.
So once every other week? Or?
Yeah. Like every week or 10 days, I'd be like, all right, I got to do it again.
And how did you feel at the time
I
about
felt
sex?
Guilty. And he was like, I wonder if I married a lesbian. Like, he just couldn't believe I didn't want to have sex.
But at the start of the relationship, you did?
Yeah.
Or you were just kind of...
The problem is the new relationship energy wears off, and when you have absolutely no skill, neither of you know what you're doing, and it's not good for her, how long is she going to want to keep doing it? You know what's funny? I have one of the programs that I wrote really early on is a program called Revive Her Drive. And it's a sneaky little name because guys will buy it, and I say to them, this program won't help you if sex has never been good. You need a therapist. But if sex used to be good, and now it's not, you can fix it. And so they buy it thinking they're going to revive her drive. They're going to fix her. And then they're like, ooh, you sneaky little devil. You fixed me. It was me. I was like trying to have sex with my wife like she's a dude. And now I understand what her body wants, and now I know what she needs from me, and she loves sex now. So that is very, very common.
But you had to fix your trauma as well in your situation.
I did.
And how did you go about fixing that?
I did a number of things. The first thing that I did was I worked with a sexual trauma therapist, and I also worked with someone who does more of a little bit of a different method called the circling method. And I also worked with some somatic therapists over the years. It was pretty quick for me. I'm very lucky. And I don't want to say that it's as easy for other people as it is for me. I'm a fast changer. I have a lot of behavioral flexibility, and I'm very comfortable in discomfort. I'm very comfortable crossing a chasm, very comfortable in uncertainty. I think because I grew up in Silicon Valley, my career in my 20s and 30s was Silicon Valley, and it's always changing. It's always like, oh, we're doing this now. It's always so, and also, a lot of people have trouble because of their genetic SNPs, because they have serotonin pathways where when they've experienced trauma, every time they think about it, it feels like a raw wound. They can't get over it because every time they think about it, it's like it's a fresh cut. That's not me. So I was able to move through things, and mostly what helped me was being able to say, I remember one of the things I had to do was I had to write down every single sexual trauma, injustice, frustration, wound, hurt, pain that I'd ever experienced. And I thought, oh, this is really going to make me sick. And my therapist said, it won't. It won't. Don't worry. Just get it out. I want you to come back on our next appointment, and I want you to tell me every single thing. I want to witness it. I want to know what you've been through. I want you to remember it all, and we're going to put it behind you. And that was very, very helpful for me. Finally, someone heard everything that I had gone through and all the things that had been done to me and all the injustices that had happened to me. And it really helped me move through it. But that's not the right therapy for everyone. People need different types of therapy. And remember, I'm not a therapist. So what I do is I deal in the how do you have hot sex, not in the let me fix your problem. I had to fix my problems to learn about it. But once I did, I was like, I want to know all about how to have the best sex that keeps getting better. What does that take? And that's been my decades of study.
How did you know you had a problem? And how did you know you had something that needed to be healed? And it wasn't just that, Tim's a little bit, I'm just not attracted to Tim anymore, or maybe I just don't like sex. How did you know, how did you have the awareness to even go to a therapist?
Because we thought there was something wrong with me. And so we went to a therapist. And she said, okay, well, tell me what your sex is like. And I started telling her, and she said, okay. Let's unwind this. Let's unpack this. Let's heal all of this.
And how did you get to the point that you knew that the trauma was at the heart of many of these challenges?
All she had to do was ask me what my sex life had been like and what I'd gone through. And I told her all the injustices and the horrible things that had happened to me, which are not unique. The thing about me is that I'm pretty much just like everybody else. I'm not special in any way. The only thing that's special about me is that I have the courage to talk about things that a lot of people don't. They feel embarrassed. That's just I don't know.
When you say sexual injustice and trauma, give me a menu of things that someone at home who's trying to understand if those things might have had an impact on their sex drive.
Sure. It can be anything from, never knowing how your parts work or what the names of them are or understanding how your body works. It could be that sex is bad or shaming. It could be, and this is something that many people struggle with, and that is my parents never told me about sex and they never showed that they were sexual. I feel like I came from a very stoic, repressed family, and it's impacted my sex life. And one of the things that I often have to say to people is, your mom and your dad did the best they could do. They didn't know anything. They were probably kids themselves, and they loved you. They just weren't equipped to help you with this. Not only that, but it's not really their job. Your sexuality and your sex life is your job. And when you take it on as something that's a part of what you have to learn, like the things you do for your career or the things that you do to support your family, and when you put it in that bucket and you let go of the victim mindset and the victim mentality, and you say, okay, what do I need to do? What is right? What is possible? Then you get into the